Here's the thing. My old host mom in Italy used to say, you gotta stick the spoon in, and if the spoon stands up, that means you did it right.
The Very Good Cooking Show.
Today, I'm gonna show you how to make a very simple, essential recipe to becoming a home chef. For about 10 years now, every roommate I've ever had says I cook like a medieval European peasant. And now look who's laughing. I am. Because I'm prepared for quarantine. I'm prepared for the apocalypse. The recipe I'm gonna show you today is the perfect recipe for this time. Why? Because it's simple, it's very easy to make, it's very nutritious, and it's delicious. It's one of my favorite things and most frequently made recipes. And that dish is lentil soup. You can go in a lot of different directions with it. You can make it more Indian, you can make it more Middle Eastern, more Mediterranean. I'm gonna do like an Italian version of this. The ingredient list is simple. Stuff that you should really just have all the time in your fridge and your pantry. Here's the great thing with, a pantry dish like this. Whatever you got in your pantry, you throw in there. You don't have fresh thyme, like a douchebag like me, you throw in dry thyme. It doesn't matter. You want to use coriander? Throw in some coriander. Throw in some cumin if you want. I mean, listen, there's nothing that you can't go wrong here. You're giving somebody food. You're feeding yourself. Just make sure poison's not in it. Just don't poison the lentils. Now let's go make some lentils. So, as I said before, this recipe is mostly comprised of ingredients I almost always have in my kitchen. Olive oil, celery, carrots, onion, garlic, some kind of fresh herbs, and of course, the star of our show, lentils. Today I'm using black lentils. Historically, I've always used the green ones, but I find these keep their structure together much better and just generally look better. The only kind I'd advise against using in this situation are the red lentils. They just turn to mush in this. Now, on to the next most important ingredient, the guanciale. Guanciale is a cut a lot like bacon or pancetta, but from the cheek of the pig instead of the belly. This one I picked up from the farmer's market and happens to be smoked like bacon. From my pantry, I'm grabbing a tin of tomato paste, a good quality olive oil, some fresh bay leaves, oregano and thyme, and last but not least, some garlic. Now on to prep. Let's start by getting our vegetables ready. Peel your onion, then half longitudinally so it's easier to cut. Use a sharper knife than mine so you don't look bad on video. Slice horizontally and then vertically. Turn the onion 90 degrees and then slice just like this to get a finest chop. I think of this as more of a dicing system or mentality, and we're going to apply it to the rest of our vegetables here today. Starting with the celery. Cut into manageable pieces and then cut lengthwise as uniformly as possible. Turn and dice away. Okay, let's speed this up. Same with the carrots here. Start by peeling them, cutting off the ends. We want them as uniform as possible here. It's a bit trickier because it's cylindrical. Just take your time, okay? Okay, now the garlic. Same thing. I know it's small, but just take it slow. It's just like the onion, but miniature. Now, you could just crush it and chop however you want, but honestly, this is the fastest way to get a fine dice. Otherwise, just be lazy and use a garlic crusher. Alright, baby, guanciale time. Like I mentioned before, bacon, pancetta, guanciale, salt pork will work here. Even sausage. Basically, you just want fatty pork. In an ideal world, I would want nice, fat pieces of cured pork. You could go to your butcher and ask for nice, thick slices, but I think we'll be just fine like this. Next up, our herbs. Oregano works super well with the bacon. I love it here. No need to chop. Pick some thyme. You don't need to be too meticulous here, but we definitely don't want a lot of stems, so keep that in mind. And there's our mise en place. As you can see, I put the bay leaves in with the veggies because that's where it's going to start cooking. Now get a big old Dutch oven or the thickest pot you've got and fire her up on medium-low. We're starting by rendering the fat out of our guanciale first. You want to put it in the pan before it gets too hot here, but that way we get as much fat out as possible. If I'm being honest here, I even let this go a little bit too long. I should have pulled it out right about here. I like it a little less done usually, but we'll add it in with our lentils and hydrate it up later. Blot out some of the excess oil with a paper towel. It's up to you how much you want to keep. Veggies in, a bit of olive oil for good luck, a few big pinches of salt. We want to cook the water out of the vegetables here, and the salt's going to allow us to do that. I'm also going to add approximately half of my herbs here. This will give us a nice subtle depth, and we'll add the other half at the end for a more fresh herb flavor. Stir occasionally until the veggies look like this, nice, soft, and golden. Forget to film the garlic going in, and then add a decent amount of tomato paste. This is going to give us some much needed acid to contrast our base here. Cook out the tinny taste on the tomato paste, and then again forget to film the lentils going in. Toss them around a little bit in the oil, let them cook out a bit. Now, I'm only going to use water here because it really doesn't even need stock or broth. Feel free to add it if you want, but look at that beautiful color already. A bit more salt for good measure. Bring it up to a simmer and put it on low and cover. Check it periodically and taste to tell when they're done. You should be able to tell when they're done when they're tender. Once you've achieved your desired texture, keep the lid off and reduce until you've reached your desired thickness. Season and add the rest of the herbs. And we're done. Let's go eat. Okay, so today I'm gonna eat this with a little bit of like nice, crusty country bread. Now, here's the trick. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna create like a nice like souped up crouton that's gonna absorb all the flavors by just putting that in there. Get in there. And now spooning some of those beautiful black lentils over. So good. Cooking's not about putting all the ingredients in. It's about doing it properly. And by adding the herbs in the beginning, it gives a nice depth to it. And then adding the rest of the fresh herbs at the end, it just brightens the whole thing up. The bread is just getting nice and soaked up there. Look at that bite. That's the perfect bite. Oh my God, that was so good. Munson, come here. Up. Oh, that's so good, right, Munson? Munson loves it. Everybody loves my lentil soup. You're a idiot if you don't love my lentil soup. You gotta try this. You gotta master this. This is a technique. This is not a recipe. You gotta just do it. You gotta do it a bunch of times. I can't tell you how many bowls of lentil soup I've eaten in my lifetime. You don't have to go to the farmer's market. You don't have to work at Bon Appetit to make this soup. You just gotta be a person who's alive. I don't need two handles on my pot. I just need one. Listen, I don't even need the other one. Let's break it off. I'll just carry it from the bottom. Get one of these. Two of them for each hand. Folks, we had a lot of fun today. You and I, we're gonna figure it out. You and me, personally, gonna figure this out. Gonna figure out how to do a YouTube channel. So good. So damn good. Like and subscribe. Comment on the video. I'll see you next time.